Well, we now have time for just a few questions for Dr. Troy Kaji and Janice LaMoree. Are there any questions? I'm sorry, I have a hard time seeing with the light. I do have a question for Janice. I was wondering if your father faced any bias or repercussions, especially during the war years, for his work on behalf of the ISE and the NISE.
He never reported that he did, but I know he visited Manzanar many times to talk to clients there, and his friends all just realized his devotion to the Japanese people, and they would kid him about it. And I remember when his group would go to, one day a year, they would go to the races, and he would always bet on the Japanese jockeys.
Yes, I have a question. When you say many of the doctors who were fired from during the internment, they lost all their, how you say it, benefits?
Oh, well, actually, Dr. Miura and several of the other doctors filed suit after the war and won their case for getting their benefits back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same as, I think, the railroad workers who who worked in the railroad, they were fired also. And, I don't know what their situation was.
Yes.
What were the common things that the doctors would see at the hospital? What sort of cases would they treat?
Dr. Kaji.
Oh, I was just wondering, what were some of the cases that the doctors would commonly be treating at the hospitals?
In an agricultural community, you're going to have lots of trauma from accidents and lots of stomach cancer, ulcers, infections, and the 20,000 babies to deliver.
Any other questions? Well, I have one for you, Troy. Oh, there is? Go ahead.
All those Japanese doctors are fired, and then what happened to the hospital afterward during the war?
Troy, you want to come
White Memorial Hospital, which is also in Boyle Heights, took over the Japanese hospital during the wartime and returned it back to the community in '46.
Thank you.
I was told about a museum docent that was on duty at the museum, and he saw an African-American woman looking intently at a picture of the First and Pickett Hospital and told him that she was born there in 1955. And she said it was because the hospital was the only place a black physician could practice or had hospital privileges. Did you run across cases or stories about this disparate access to health care in your studies?
As far as doctors being able to practice in hospitals, a lot of the hospitals practice what you call an open system where anyone could apply and potentially get on the staff. Then it was our usual office politics at work. And so some were better at that than others. My grandfather was able to use facilities in hospitals in Long Beach, Santa Maria, and a few other places, as well as this Japanese hospital. So I think they reciprocated, and it wasn't all Japanese at the Japanese hospital. There was a Dr. Adler as radiologist, and there's some non-Japanese names on the staff there.
Thank you. One more final question then, unless there's any other questions. With all your study, I'm curious as what you see as the legacy of the Japanese hospitals, and if there's any lessons for today in our present healthcare crisis. Tell them.
This is sort of leadership of looking at your current situation looking at what you've been given, maybe what you've been dealt, the hand you've been dealt. Maybe it's not a great looking hand in your life, but making the most of it, cooperating with friends that you find, and going forward. So that's the lesson I would put to you from this presentation, that now all of you young people, including my daughters in the audience, will have your own challenges in life to challenge you, and it'll take your creativity, your relationships, your hope, your vision, all of that to overcome your own challenges.
Well, thank you very much.